guys for coming to the last class of Commerce University. Yay! Yay! It's been a great couple of weeks. You guys have all been amazing. Congratulations to our graduates who have been to all 6 classes and extra credit. Give it a round of applause. Good job, good job. So today you do have a pop quiz if you would like to take it. It is based on what we learned last week. For every right answer, you get $1 to spend at Betty's Books tonight. So if you want to give it a try, it is there for you to give a try. Also, I just want to let you know that Slice is coming up. It is on Halloween this year. So we really encourage you guys to come in costume. Everyone else will be in costume. So you should be in costume too. Yes, exactly. Peer pressure. So today we're going to be talking about community zines, and we have Sister Hag here with us. So you want to come right on up? Yay.
This is my podium.
You got it.
Hi, everybody. Uh, my name's Cameron. I want to say thank you for coming to the final installment of Comics University. I'm really excited to be here with you guys and to talk about community zines. So, Sister Hag is my pseudonym. This is her up here. I love her. I use her to write. I write under her for my zines and my Substack essays. And I came up with the name after reading Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde, which is a collection of essays and poems that I highly recommend. So I got into writing zines a little bit over a year ago, after my bestie here was hosting hosting an independent artist market and encouraged me to participate. And at first I didn't really know how I could contribute, because at the time I wasn't a self-identified artist. I was knitting and stuff, but knitting for an independent artist market would have been insane. It would have taken me forever. And then somehow the topic of zines came up, and immediately after that, I kind of just jumped in head first. And it was a really exciting, timely, creative outlet for me. And especially because I was working at a place that was like actively stifling my creativity. So being able to create This Might Be Communism was like one of the best things ever. And I'm really happy that I get to make zines and I get to make collage. So the first one is about bartering and decentering money in our communities. They're all communism adjacent. The first one is about bartering and then has like a little game, choose your own adventure, flow chart type thing. I'm gonna pass them around. And if you take the quiz, please find me later and tell me what you got, because I want to know. That flowchart is my pièce de résistance, the best thing I've ever made in my life. The second zine is about climate change, and that one's really important to me because I was able to interview a local climate activist for it and talk about how St. Louis exists in an urban heat island, which is basically like the result of anti-Black infrastructure that just makes St. Louis heat itself over and over and over again until it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and people have to use electricity, which makes it hotter. There's no trees, it gets hotter. You get the gist. I also have some of these to pass around here. Go. And then the third one, which I finished just recently, is about knitting in public. I am a strong proponent of public knitting, public crafting in general. And in this one, I kind of argue that knitting can be like a subversive tactic for battling neoliberalism, which is like a fancy way of saying that people like you and I are consumers before we are humans, which is not the case. And then I also make these like little one-page zines, which I have one of to pass around, but they're like not as involved as my my big hand-bound zines. They're really just thoughts that I put on paper, which is really what a zine is. And then the one-page zine is what we're all going to be working on today. So you want to make your own zine. Exciting. I broke it down into 3 steps. The first one is skill assessment, which is figuring out how to take what you know and put it down on paper. Step 2 is making it accessible for the people in your community. And then step 3 is to turn it into an actual physical zine. So for skill assessment, if you can rant about it, you can make a zine about it, and truer words have never been spoken. Seriously, if you can talk about something for 30 seconds, you can make it into a zine. And a lot of these people in the audience, I know for a fact, are certified yappers. So you could be cranking out those zines like nobody's business. I made a little flow chart. Like I said earlier, flow charts are my passion. I'm going to be quiet for the next 25 seconds so that you guys can read through it. Is anybody still reading? Okay, I'm going to turn it. Um, so now that we kind of have at least a little bit of an idea of what we want to make our zine about, you have to organize the main components of your skill. So, for example, if I'm writing a zine about how to knit, I will think about what resources are necessary for knitting. So, yarn, 2 knitting needles, and patience. If you're writing about, I don't know, like sanitizing clothes, bleach, spray bottle, sunlight, it just think about in the most basic terms what is necessary. And then organize that information. Usually, if you're teaching somebody something, it has to be in chronological order. So if I go back to the knitting example, stab the loop, strangle the needle, pull out the insides is usually how it goes. Um, and then also under organizing information, you can compile like further resources for the reader to dig into after the zine, after they have finished the zine. Um, skill specific language, this is part of making things accessible, is kind of identifying any words that might not be in everybody's like word bank. A lot of skills have skill specific language, and if it has like a textbook definition, I would just add that in there to make it easier for everyone to understand. And then consider pictures, font size, and the length of the zine. I always add pictures because some people are visual learners, font size because some people wear glasses, and length of the zine. You guys only get 8 pages because it's a 1-page zine, so make it choppy. And the fun part is turning it into a zine. Yay! This meme I got from Zines for Queers on Instagram, which is one of my favorite Instagram accounts, and I definitely recommend following them. I'm going to read the last one in case it's not easy to see, but it says, "Zines are a means for revolution and true organizing. They have the power to free us from big tech's death grip and from the surveillance state. If you take anything away from this, let it be that." Okay. So when it comes to making your zine into like a readable booklet, you can fold, stitch, or staple. Personally, I like to stitch my zines. I use embroidery thread and a big long mattress needle. And then I run the thread through beeswax and then go in and out and in and out of the zine until it's sturdy enough to be flipped through. But you can also fold it like a 1-page zine or use a stapler, which is very sturdy, very surgical. But the option is yours. Yours, really. Not today because we're doing a 1-page zine, but in any other circumstance, the option is yours. And then I'll leave this up later maybe for people to reference when folding their zines. I always encourage adding images, doodles, or collage just for visual stimulation. And then the whole point of making a zine is to spread that information far and wide. So definitely make a bunch of copies. I have probably 200 copies of This Might Be Communism at my house right now. So if anyone wants one, let me know. And then once your zine is done, the world is your oyster. You can donate it to your local library. Most of the libraries in the St. Louis Public Library system have collections of zines. The Central Library does, the Carpenter Library does, and the Schlafly Library does. I'm sure more of them do as well, but you'll just have to look up whichever library is closest to you, and then also Zine Library. You can do you can do it the guerrilla way, which is my preferred method. It's just leaving them around. You can leave them in public bathrooms. You can leave them in coffee shops. You can leave them at the airport. I probably wouldn't leave mine at the airport because of the sensitive topic, but you could leave it at like the bus stop or the train station. And then they also make lovely gifts for friends. I love to give my zines as gifts for birthday presents. For Jordan's birthday, I spun yarn and then documented the process in a little one-page zine and then tied it onto the skein. So they make really lovely gifts. And then here are some ideas to get you started. If none of these spark any interest, I can come around and help you brainstorm. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we're going to leave these ideas up for you. I think one of the most important things to think about with these zines is what can you share with someone else? You know, what are skills that you have that are so, that come so easily to you? This is the perfect thing to make a zine about. So maybe even start with brainstorming. What are some of the things that you're really good at? What are some of the things you want other people to be really good at? So like how this one says cook a meal. Sometimes I like the kinds of zines that are like, this is how to cook rice, very simple, but very helpful. Not everybody knows how to cook rice. And then, think about as well how you want to get this across. Zines can be done in any way. They can be written, they can be illustrated, it could be poetry if you want it. Just keep in mind that you have 8 pages to get this across. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll make a bulleted list. These are the things I want to go on each of the pages. So I want to teach you guys how to fold a zine. How many of you already know how to fold a zine?
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so some people could use a refresher, is what it sounds like. Okay, great, excellent. Well, I want you to take some paper that you can get on, like right in the middle of your tables. And then you're just going to follow me. I'll go relatively slowly, but I think you can follow. All right. Paper in hand. All right. First thing you're going to do is you're going to fold your paper hot dog style. Hot dog style. Make sure those corners are nice and connected. How do you feel about our hot dogs? Looking good? Okay. Once you have folded your page hot dog style, you're going to open it back up and you're going to fold it hamburger style. The opposite way. Okay. Already off to a great start. Seeing some good folds together. Okay, this is what your page is going to look like so far. If you've made it to this point, good job. All right. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to hold it so that it's long legs. You're going to fold the bottom up to that middle line. Okay, I'll just hold it. Okay, did everyone fold it from the bottom to the middle? Now you're going to fold it from the top to the middle. Okay, your page should look like this now. Got it? Good. Okay, now that your page looks like this with 2, 4, 6, 8 rectangles, you're going to fold it hamburger style again. And you're going to cut from this middle point on the top to the middle point right in the middle of the page. what I need. There should be some scissors on your table. Make sure to share. You might have a couple more. You want to look at the outbox? See if you have more scissors. Thank you. Okay. Once everyone has their sheet of paper and it's got the little cut in it, are you ready for the next step? Yes? Okay. I'm going to come to each table and do this so that you can all see close up. But you're going to take your paper, lay it on the table so that the folded points are up, and you're going to squeeze it in so that it looks like this. Does anyone need scissors? We got some more. Let's put some on the table. Yeah. Great. Good. You guys have it squeezed.
Like that?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you just go on the mic. I can hear the mic. It's like a punch.
All right. Once it is squeezed,
I've never folded his hand this way. I'm learning with you guys.
How did you fold the little card?
A different method. I think they're gonna do it this way. Are you really good?
It was made in like the 1920s, and now like stuff like during COVID.
oh, you're next. You squeeze it and bring it, and then fold it flat. So you have a little booklet.
I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Squeeze it in. It's usually easier if you put your hands on top. Yeah. So you fold it in. Oh, and then you flatten it as a book. Good. Excellent. Great work. Okay. So another thing to keep in mind, this is technically a book, and most books have covers, right? So what I like to do is I make a little note in the bottom corner that says front cover, and then I number each of the pages, and then I put back cover on here. I make it pretty tiny. You know, you can even put FC or BC, front cover, back cover. That way, when you are drawing in your zine or writing in your zine, all you have to do is lay it out and you can draw on it on the page and you know exactly what goes where. But you can also draw it in its book format as well. Whatever makes it easiest for you. So think about, you can also take another sheet of paper if you want and start brainstorming your ideas. Think about what would be a good skill that you want to teach someone in your community.
I can fix that. You want to fix it?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even realize it was there. But no, I like to.
Okay, perfect. I love making aprons. So exciting.
I know what I'm doing.
We're gonna run till the hour. So.